Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Boundary, right here on TOI Sports. We have a riveting discussion in store today as the countdown towards the ICC Champions Trophy keeps building up every day. And we have new stories coming up around the Indian team and its selection right here on the Times of India group. And we have a power packed panel today to discuss all about the Indian team and its selection. We have with us Nitin Naik, a very senior journalist and a former colleague of mine who joins us right here from Mumbai. Then we have the man of the moment, Gaurav Gupta, who is also joining us from Mumbai, GG as we like to call him. And of course, Saurabh Somani, who joins us from an undisclosed location, as always, on Beyond the Boundary. Welcome, gentlemen. And just wondering, with the build up to this ICC Champions Trophy, every day something new seems to be happening. And Gigi, you have observed something very closely today. Something sensational happened that after a very long time, we had some big development at the Wankhede Stadium. What was that? Can you please enlighten?
Yesterday I got to know that. Firstly, a very good evening to all of you. I got to know that yesterday that Rohit Sharma has expressed the Indian captain has expressed a desire with the Mumbai coach Omkar Salvi that he wanted to train with the Mumbai team. He is not yet sure whether he wants to play in that Ranji Trophy match on Jan 23rd from Jan 23rd because there's a white ball tournament coming up after that. The Champions Trophy is a white ball tournament. But he would still like to at least start practicing and be in the groove, considering the poor form that he's been in. So he went to the Wankhede Stadium today, and he had a 45-minute hit in the center pitch, and not just him. There was Ajinkya Rahane, all the top Mumbai and India players who were once top India players, not anymore. Ajinkya Rahane was there, Shreyas Iyer was there, Shardul Thakur. So all of them, he practiced with all of them, and he had a fruitful session, hopefully. And then he attended a promotional event as well, where much to sort of the ire of the journalists there, he did not speak to the media, which is understandable considering that he's going through a bit of a low phase, when it comes to form. But it was heartening to see that the sort of character that he is. That was expected that he will practice. He will take up. He will resume his practice soon, and to do that with the Mumbai players, I think it's a big boost for the Mumbai players as well. A lot of guys like Shams Mulani and the other youngsters in the team. I think it's a big boost for them. To Tanush Kote and all that. They must have been bowling to Rohit in the nets. It's a good practice for Shardul Thakur also as he bids for a comeback into the Indian team. And I hope he has had he will have a few decent hits in the days to come at BKC as well. Let's hope that this is start of something good in the new year.
Nitin, I'm sorry to bring this up, but I was just going through some old material. 18 years
Hmm.
ago, India was knocked out of the 2007 ODI World Cup. I was sitting there in West Indies wondering, what do I do next? Should I come back or should I stay back? And here in Mumbai, you had this massive review meeting then in 2007. And the first point of that a media release that came out, this time there was no media release because now they don't believe in media releases during the day or the night, or sometimes they're late in the night. The first point back in 2007, April 7, 2007, the media release said, with a view to strengthen domestic cricket, efforts will be made to ensure that all Test and ODI cricketers play Irani, Dulip, Challenger, and some Ranji Trophy matches. I'm just wondering, looking at the way today Rohit Sharma practiced in a clandestine fashion, and as in it was not made obvious. I'm just wondering, have we regressed in terms of A, in terms of providing information, and B, in terms of trying to make the star players play domestic cricket? 18 years later, we are still discussing the same thing. I think the more things change, more they remain the same.
Yeah, very much so. Firstly, good evening to everyone. We have regressed in terms of one performance, number two, even in terms of communication. I think the communication which was so clear in the earlier regimes, now it seems that it's completely cloak and dagger. And what you very nicely pointed out, and you shared the press release of 18 years ago. Uh, exactly the same. I mean, there were also, I think, reports about players not endorsing more than two or three products. wives not being allowed to travel, as if all that is and even the media reports that we read today in some other outlets about wives not being allowed on tour, as if now, so now maybe we should take away the credit from Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, Travis Head, and Steve Smith, and give the credit of Australia's performance to India's wives and girlfriends.
Maybe also that they were staring at their wives for more than 5 minutes. That could also be a
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
why
yeah. Of course. Yeah, yeah.
why that decision was taken. Saurabh, leaving aside all the drama that's been happening over the last few days, so much confusion, so much drama about who will be the next captain, who will not be the next captain. Amidst all this, we had a discussion yesterday about the T20 side. That seems to be on a different train altogether. Like Surya Kumar Yadav has said, "Mere bachcho ko haath mat lagana. I will take them somewhere else." It's almost like he's taking them to an undisclosed location, while the Test and ODI sides are still squabbling about who should be, who should not be. What do you make of this confusion ahead of the Champions Trophy? India and Pakistan are the only two sides that have not named their squads.
But I mean, it was expected that India would not name their squad till the last moment, right? Unfortunately, the undisclosed location that Surya Kumar Yadav has taken the team to is a different undisclosed location than mine. So I can't give you insider info from that. But I like where the T20 team is headed. I think it's in the right direction with multi-dimensional players, with bowlers to suit the T20 cricket, batters whose playing style suits a more explosive sort of game. So I like the direction in which it is headed. Champions Trophy squad. I think the only question actually is about every time an India squad is selected. Actually, the only question is about 2-3 spots, right? Out of the 15, 12, 13 to will be there. Now, barring, I mean, injuries and all is a different matter. But now the only question is whether two names are going to be there or not. Uh, I think they will be there. I would be surprised if they are not, because this is ODIs. It's a different format and all that jazz. And at least in ODIs, you won't have a slip cordon waiting where you can nick outside off constantly, right? So that sort of weakness is not as much of a threat in ODIs. So the Champions Trophy squad, I don't think it will come. I think, as you have numerous times pointed out, which I agree with, it will come late at night on the deadline day. उसके पहले कुछ पता नहीं चलेगा.
Gaurav, is it possible that the squad has been chosen and they have forwarded it to ICC via email? Only thing, they have not made it public to all of us concerned. They know what their squad is, because nothing is going to change in 5-6 days. Like Bumrah suddenly won't get super fit, Kuldeep suddenly won't get super fit or very unfit. So it is possible that they've already chosen, because if they have met to select a T20 squad, they might have also selected the ODI squad.
Yes, Chandesh, it's pretty much possible with BCCI. Anything is possible, and I did read it somewhere that they have picked the squad and they have told the ICC कि भाई ये हमारा squad है, and please keep it completely top secret. It's pretty much possible with them, and then suddenly, as Saurabh mentioned, in the midnight. But I think they will do a press conference. I have a
So
feeling that they will announce the squad on.
maybe was it that just before he took up the ICC duties, the BCCI secretary signed off on the squad and forwarded it to himself? Next day, he saw it and he said, "ठीक है, रखूंगा."
I don't know what Saurabh is saying, all these things. Gaurav, please continue.
Yeah, so 17th, 18th, and I mean, either 17th or 18th or 19th. I expect any of the 3 days, on any of the 3 days, the squad to be officially announced, followed by a press conference, or maybe there'll be a press conference, or Ajit Agarkar or Gautam, not Gautam Gambhir, Rohit Sharma का मैं अगर रोहित शर्मा कप्तान होंगे मोस्टली होंगे वही कप्तान तो वो उनकी एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज देयर आर टू मेनी क्वेश्चंस दैट द प्रेस हैज बीन आस्किंग फॉर अ वाइल नाउ clarity on a lot of things when it comes to the ODI squad, also when it comes to the T20 squad, a lot of this thing selections issues which have been unanswered. Why was Shubman Gill not there? Rishabh Pant not there, or so on and so forth. A few players' absence was sort of glaring. So I think those questions will be answered by the chief selector himself. Because I think mostly अगर आप देखें तो बड़े for all BCCI's secrecy around their selections and decisions, एक चीज मैंने देखी है, बड़े टूर्नामेंट के पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस होता है जनरली, चीफ सेलेक्टर का, या फिर हेड कोच, एटलीस्ट चीफ सेलेक्टर का, so I am expecting कि around that time कुछ होगा. That is when the team will be announced. And I mean, जहां तक जसप्रीत बुमराह का सवाल है, I really doubt, as you said, 4-5 days में कुछ नहीं बदलने वाला है. My sources tell me that he is in for a long layoff, which could perhaps hopefully not stretch longer than the Champions Trophy, but definitely includes the him being out of the Champions Trophy completely. So beyond that, I don't know whether he will be even fit for the IPL. Because those are again 14 games crammed in a very less time of space, space time zone, like maybe around a couple of months. 14 matches hote hain, which a lot of traveling involved and all that, which will again put a lot of strain on his back. Considering we have a tour of England in June and July, I think he'll be better off, if in the worst case scenario, to even miss the IPL and be fresh for the England tour. So
I
rest of
know.
the squad, I think itself, as Saurav said, 12-13 naam to picked hi hai, self picked hi hai.
I think Gaurav is saying a lot of anti-national things by saying that he will not be available for a certain period of time and everything. And by only request to Gaurav, because you have good connections with the BCCI, don't hold the press conference on 19th, because 19th we have the Mumbai Marathon, we have the Coldplay concert, we have the Wankhede celebration. We can't have one more selection committee press conference. There will be no space left. You will be running from here to there. So please request them that much you can say. You can use your good offices to do that. But Nitin, now that it is, Gaurav has sort of revealed that possibly Bumrah might not be playing the Champions Trophy. Uh, then in that case, what happens to the makeup of the Indian pace attack? Because the injury that Bumrah suffered in the Sydney Test match, or probably it was a case of overload, and he was not managed properly. Though our good friend Balwinder Sandhu thinks that there is no such thing as workload management. What does it say about India's pace attack options for the Champions Trophy? What happens? Because the bowling was the reason why India made it to the final of the World Cup in the 2023.
Yeah. Bowling, and obviously by outscoring their opponents whenever they batted first, and applying the scoreboard pressure like it happened in the semi-final. I would think that Arshdeep Singh should be now fast track. He has played one days sporadically, but I think Arshdeep Singh now should be. I think he's India's number two white ball bowler. If I'm not, if I'm not overestimating his strengths. Um, Definitely India's number two T20 bowler, and I think the way he's swinging the ball, I think definitely India's number two white ball bowler. Shami, with an asterisk on his fitness, yes, and Mohammad Siraj. I think these three will be India's pace bowling options in the Champions Trophy, with along with Hardik Pandya. If I mean, I've been reading different stuff in different media outlets about whether Hardik wants to play 50 over cricket, because he did not even play for Baroda, I think, in the Vijay Hazare Trophy. So I do not know where he stands in terms of his 50 over cricket. But I feel that with Hardik Pandya and three seam options, I think you get a decent pace stock there.
And then you spoke about Hardik Pandya. So if he doesn't want to play, then you have other options like Nitish Kumar Reddy, who did well
Yeah,
in Australia with the bat and picked up crucial wickets off and on.
yeah,
But can he bowl 10 overs? Can you consider him for 10 overs? He opened the bowling against Bangladesh in the T20 series, but is he a ODI bowler like Hardik Pandya? That is left to be considered. But sort of amidst all this, there is also this confusion. You spoke about 2-3 spots. So one spot is obviously the pace bowling spot. The other spot is the wicket keeping spot. Our friend Gigi here first reported about KL Rahul being asked to take a break, and then it was reported by Gigi himself that BCCI said, "Sorry, you have to play. You can't take a break." Then I think his father-in-law also said, "Ye dharti meri maa hai," so then he had to play. Then, so Saurabh, where do you stand on this confusion around the wicketkeeper slot? You have obviously KL Rahul, who has been a regular ODI wicketkeeper since January 2020. He took up the gloves here in Mumbai when Rishabh suffered concussion. And since then, Rishabh has struggled for a place in ODIs, not KL Rahul.
No, I think Rahul has earned his spot. Again, 2024 में India played what, 3 ODIs, so you can't really go too much by any recent form. Because 3 ODIs and that too not a full strength team in Sri Lanka, which they ended up losing also the series. But you can't really go by that. So the most recent thing you have to draw on is the World Cup actually, that happened in, and Rahul was perfectly fine in the World Cup. Maybe in the finals you can question a little bit. He should have gone on the charge a little earlier or not, but anyway, that is like all done and dusted. He was perfectly fine, and he has been like really great at number 4 and 5, which is a very tough spot. In fact, I feel he shows more intent at number 4 5 in the ODI side than he shows opening the batting in T20 cricket, which is very weird, but that's how it is. And he has been an actually outstanding guy for India at that spot. Now Rishabh Pant's uh, attractiveness, of course, I understand. Like, he is clearly a generational talent, but he has not played ODIs. He obviously had that horrific time out of the game and all that, and since he has come back, obviously there have been no ODIs to play. He has not played, so I think Rahul definitely should be the first choice keeper. And as I tweeted to Gigi also that time, I think it's the right call to ask him not to rest, because if these are the only 3 ODIs you are playing before the Champions Trophy, you should play with your first choice 11. As many of your first choice 11 are available apart from injury, because you need to get into ODI rhythm. ODI rhythm is very different from Test rhythm, very different from T20 rhythm, which is something that of course, these guys all have a lot of experience of ODIs, but you still need to get into that rhythm while playing. You can't just flick a switch on and it comes like that. So you need to play. It's 3 ODIs, and maybe there'll be a warm up or two in Dubai. I don't know. I'm sure they'll arrange something, but you need to play those ODIs with as much of a full strength squad as possible. So I think Rahul definitely should be there, and I think he has earned his spot. And for now, I would pick him ahead of Rishabh Pant in the ODI squad, because I don't find any reason to drop him. It's not, he has had outstanding numbers. Now you can say that you can drop a guy when he has had good numbers and there's an outstanding talent waiting. But when a guy has outstanding numbers, you can't drop him for no matter how good the guy in the wings is.
Saurabh, just checking, Rishabh
Hmm.
Pant played the last ODI in Sri Lanka, but the
Yeah, yeah.
first two
He
ODIs,
played.
KL
Okay.
Rahul was the first choice. And
Hmm.
before that, after the World Cup in South Africa, in the ODIs, it was KL Rahul who was captaining India. So,
Hmm.
in every sense of the word, KL Rahul has been ahead of Rishabh Pant in the ODI scheme of
Even
things.
even when Pant was available.
Yes. So,
Hmm.
Gigi, in the background of all this, are all of us guilty of confusing formats? Are all of us guilty of looking at punt from the test lens rather than from the white ball lens? Are the selectors also thinking like us, or are they thinking differently?
आई थिंक सिलेक्टर्स डिफरेंटली सोच रहे हैं. मुझे लगता है कि अब शायद थोड़ा सा इस बारे में कंसिस्टेंसी आ रही है. Because if you notice the T20 squad also, I think there are two theories. One is that they have been rested, and this is two of my sources saying completely different things. The first source, on the day of the selection, told me that he has been, there was no space. You could not have ignored Sanju Samson, the kind of form that he showed in South Africa, back-to-back hundreds and all that. So Pant ke liye space kahan tha? And then a couple of sources the next day and the day after that told me, nahi yaar, we were looking to rest him. We have hardly played players who've gone to Australia. Sabko thoda rest chahiye tha. Grilling tour tha, 5 test tour. What I think somewhere, see, इंडिया में कोई खुल के बोलता नहीं कि ड्रॉप किया गया. पता नहीं, हमारा कल्चर ही नहीं है ऐसा. हम बोलते हैं रेस्ट किया और मतलब बहुत आदर और सम्मान के साथ हम पूरे टाइम वो करते हैं.
या
So I
ऑप्ट
mean,
आउट
the
किया.
fact is, we should not be confusing Pant's 61 of 33 balls that he hit in that very chanced his arm, and it was a brilliant knock, no doubt. And and he's on tough wickets. He's done well. Mumbai also, there was a tough turner to play on. Hit half centuries in both the innings, and both were attacking knocks. But those have come in red ball cricket, and clearly the man is a completely transformed beast in red ball cricket, and a subdued version of him comes out in the ODIs and also in the white ball cricket in general. I mean, I was seeing the other day 76 T20s. He's got 350s. So you at some stage you got to take a call when you've got guys like Sanju Samson waiting in the wings in the T20s and KL Rahul, who's now perfectly settled in that role in the ODIs. I do not think that they would touch him in that position anymore, and especially with the kind of confidence that the head coach Gautam Gambhir has in him. Before leaving for Australia, he told us very clearly the press conference in Mumbai that KL is somebody who from 1 to 6 मेरे लिए वो कुछ भी कर सकता है, which very few cricketers in world cricket have that ability. So I do not think that, and coming back to, let me please clarify to a lot of people who thought that I was just bluffing and I got my news wrong and all that. Please, bhai log, I initially did get to know that he will be rested, which is why I did my story and I tweeted. And then subsequently, after my story appeared, I think there was a lot of backlash and so on and so forth. And the BCCI had a rethink. And then obviously T20's KL Rahul is not there. He's not a part of the T20 team anymore. There's too much competition there already. And Sanju has sealed that spot for good for a while. So the question was about the 3 ODIs where he was rested initially, but then after that there was a school of thought ki bhai, as Saurav said to me, if he has to go into the Champions Trophy, he better be in the groove. He would have had rested. He would have spent time with his wife and so on and so forth, and he can then play those 3 matches and go into the Champions Trophy. So that's it. That is why he was specifically told by the BCCI that the day I did that story that please, play these matches. And as long as the BCCI is telling him, he cannot say nahi nahi. अभी तो पहले आपने ऐसा बोला था. He'll say okay भाई खेलूंगा ठीक है. So that's how the thing goes, which is a sensible decision, I think.
तो देखिए मासूम चेहरा जो हमारे स्क्रीन पर है गौरव गुप्ता का, मेरा नहीं, उनका चेहरा दिखाइए भाई साहब. गौरव गुप्ता का चेहरा दिखाना चाहिए. ये जो मासूम चेहरा है, इनके मुस्कुराते चेहरों पे जाइए. बहुत ही साधारण व्यक्ति नहीं, असाधारण व्यक्ति है. इन्होंने जो स्टोरी लिखा ये डाउन टू द ग्राउंड रिपोर्टर है, मतलब ईयर्स टू द ग्राउंड रिपोर्टर है. इनकी बात बिल्कुल सही साबित होती है. और गौरव, सिर्फ एक सजेशन, जो आपको पहले बोला ना कि उसको कैसे मौका दे ऋषभ पंत को, उस पर भरोसा कीजिए, दूसरे वाले पे भरोसा मत कीजिए. पर नितिन, what do you make of this confusion now? Like, where do you sit? Because clearly you're 3 contenders, KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant and Sanju Samson. Where do you sit? Where do you think ultimately the selectors and the team management will decide?
I think KL with when he keeps and he bats, I think that gives the side a lot of balance and flexibility. And he did beautifully in the World Cup. I mean, even and he's as Gaurav said, apart from the versatility in his skills, he's also very versatile in terms of his batting gears that he can operate in. He got a 25 ball 40 in the semi-final here at Wankhede against New Zealand, and in the first match against Australia in Chennai, when I think India lost 0 for 3, he took his time and he built the innings along with Kohli. There was also a wonderful knock that he played against Australia at the Wankhede here in March 2023, when Mitchell Starc had blown apart the top order. He and Ravindra Jadeja, I think took the chase home. So he is very versatile in those and I think one day white ball cricket comes very easily to him, and I think there should be absolutely no doubt that he should be the wicketkeeper batter for us, and Sanju Samson should be the backup option.
So that's a big thing. Saurabh, Nitin has plumped for KL Rahul and Sanju Samson. And at the same time, we already spoken about Jasprit Bumrah not being available. So you're looking for another option over there. Arshdeep, Siraj and Shami, I'm supposing, will be the 3 choices for that. And with if Hardik Pandya is available, so that is sorted. Saurabh, do you agree with Nitin about KL and Sanju?
Yeah, I would have to say based on past form and everything and how it stands currently, I agree. My hope or wish is that by 2027, Rishabh Pant would have figured out. He's too good a player to not do well. I think he's too good a player to not do well consistently in white ball cricket. I'm hoping he would have figured out what to do and what shots to play when, and his gears basically, just like what Nitin Bhai was saying about Rahul. No, I hope he would have figured out the gears, and 2027 World Cup he'll be a serious contender, because that explosiveness, that left-handedness, that in the middle order, I think is a crucial thing. But for now, for the Champions Trophy, I think KL Rahul is the first choice, and I think Sanju Samson also, to an extent, has the KL Rahul ability to bat anywhere in the order. So he would be a good second choice, and he can also, he's pretty good against space, and he can murder spin. He can just take it apart. So he would be a pretty handy guy to have if you need someone like that in the middle order. So yeah.
So, yeah, Nitin, you wanted to say something?
Just a small thing only with the personnel that I have chosen. It just struck me that if we don't have Pant, your top six will be full of only right-handers. So
That's why we need to
so
get
that is
Jaiswal in.
yeah.
So then, if
So
But
Jaiswal
that
so
plays,
that
it
happened
just
in the
it
Asia
just
Cup as well.
huh?
yeah
That
it
happened
just
in the
struck
Asia
me.
Cup and the World Cup as well. Asia Cup and World
Yeah,
Cup
yeah,
also. I think we had
yeah,
right-handers and we did pretty well. We won the Asia Cup. We reached the final. So ये
yeah.
left hand batsman or left arm bowler का
I
जो
know.
ऑप्शन है थोड़ा सा
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
it's
But
yeah,
misplaced.
Gigi,
yeah.
isn't it? There are reports that the coach is obsessed with this left-right combination because of his T20 connection, and he wants, even in Test cricket, he wants that break in left, right, left, right, left, right. What does it say about the coach's preference? Because where does the coach sit? Because that's also a very important factor in all of this.
कोच इज अ ह्यूज बैकर ऑफ संजू सैमसन एंड केएल राहुल विदाउट डाउट. वो तो सामने दिख रहा है क्योंकि उन्होंने संजू ने ओपनिंग आई थिंक उनके टेनर में शुरू किया विद हिम एज द कोच एंड सूर्य कुमार यादव वाज आल्सो अ मैसिव बैकर ऑफ संजू यू नो इन टी20 क्रिकेट. उन्होंने ओपनिंग करना शुरू करी विच हैज ऑब्वियसली कंप्लीटली ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड हिज गेम and helped him realize his potential. My only thing with Sanju is that he has also been, I mean, his ODI average is pretty good, but because of the sporadic chances that he's got, he's not been consistent enough. And I hope he regains that consistency. But I do see obviously Rishabh going for Champions Trophy and the three ODIs. If at least not as the first option, at least as the second option. I don't think Rishabh को वो लोग पूरी तरह sideline करेंगे from white ball cricket. At least in the ODIs he'll be there, if not the T20s. So that is where I stand on that.
Gentlemen, also the stats for Sanju Samson. He played ODI cricket in those 2 years when India was going to play the two T20 World Cups, 21 and 22, under Shikhar Dhawan. When Shikhar Dhawan was leading a separate side, just like Sky is leading a separate side in T20 cricket right now. And it's not a bad record, Nitin and Saurabh and Gaurav.
Yeah.
Anyone can jump in here because this is a pretty good record in ODI cricket. He's got limited opportunities, but he's done quite well, hasn't he? Any one of you wants to jump in?
Yeah, I mean
And
he can especially if he can bat at number six. Then when the ball is slightly older, he is a brilliant player against spin, especially he can hit anywhere between this arc to mid wicket to extra cover. So he can really attack spin as we saw in South Africa, and at that time around 25 overs, 26 overs to 40 overs. Generally, when spinners are in action, maybe an Adam Zampa or somebody else, Mitchell Santner or one of the Bangladesh spinners on those maybe tiring tracks of Dubai. Maybe you would need an enforcer at that spot, and I think Sanju's game against spin is very versatile and very power packed. So I think Sanju will make for a good and very attractive option.
And Gaurav, this viewer of ours, Avadh Agarwal, is saying that Pant is best suited for opening position in white ball. After Rohit Virat in ODI, it should be Pant, Jaiswal, and Gill in the top order. I'm not sure
यार है
if the powers that be agree
ये है
in
तो
ODI.
ड्रीम कम बट पंत आई थिंक दे ट्राइड अ बिट ऑफ हिम इन द ओपनिंग स्लॉट. आई डोंट थिंक इट रियली वर्कड और दूसरी बात तो ये है कि रोहित और विराट तो कहीं जा नहीं रहे, तो आफ्टर विराट और रोहित तो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि दोनों 2027 वर्ल्ड कप खेलने के चक्कर में है. दोनों कम से कम 5-5 साल और खेलने के चक्कर में है. तो वी आर सीइंग अ लॉट ऑफ tumultuous times in Indian cricket going forward. I'm sorry to say, but we don't know whether they will regain their form और शायद 4-5 सीरीज और हम उनको देखेंगे और अपना फॉर्म ट्राई करेंगे वो लोग रिगेन करने का. तो तब तक क्या होता है वो देखने वाली बात होगी. और जहां तक आप कोच का पूछ रहे थे तो कोच भी थोड़ा सा चॉपी वाटर्स में है अभी इस समय. मतलब आई डोंट सी हिम आल्सो गोइंग थ्रू अ वेरी नाइस पीरियड राइट नाउ. We have struggled a lot. We have lost a lot under him. So let's see what happens in the Champions Trophy. I think it's going to be very crucial for him also. And I think if we do get out in the league stage, I see his job in serious trouble.
But you're saying something very big here. We'll come back to Ujjwal Maurya's comment, saying something very big that coach is in trouble. But right after Champions Trophy, we have the IPL. So usually we tend to forget whatever happens. Like usually before an IPL, you have a New Zealand tour. India loses 2 Test matches there. Everybody forgets. But you're saying no one will forget the Champions Trophy debacle if at all it happens.
Because IPL is the perfect time. 2 2 महीने आप मतलब कोई क्रिकेट नहीं होती है. So that is the time when you look for a new good coach. If there are the reports that are coming out is that the team is also not, the seniors are not happy under him. The performances haven't been good at all. You're losing tournament after tournament, series after series. तो अब तो कितने सारे मेम बन गए उनको लेके. अब ये हो रहा है कि आई वाज सीइंग कौन सा सम सीरीज, इंग्लैंड इज इन इंडिया राइट नेक्स्ट. सो उसका भी वो चल रहा है दैट इंडिया हैव नॉट lost to England at home in an ODI series for I don't know how many years, 30
40
30
years.
some 40
40
years.
years.
So वो भी गंभीर का एक मैंने
84.
मेम देखा कि वो गंभीर ऐसे खड़े हुए हैं कि चैलेंज एक्सेप्टेड, ये भी करके दिखाऊंगा मैं. So you
So
never know.
basically, Gigi, you're saying that it was not Gambhir who said in the dressing room, "बहुत हो गया." It was the seniors and the other players who said, "बहुत हो गया."
नहीं कहा तो वो गंभीर नहीं है, जिस हिसाब से वो स्टोरी हुई है कि गंभीर नहीं बोला है, लेकिन वो गंभीर ने बोला है. लेकिन ये चीज आप थोड़ी सी मुझे अजीब लगी कि वो चीज पूरी बट देन अजीब भी नहीं है. ड्रेसिंग रूम का बहुत कुछ बाहर आता है, तो ये प्रिटेंड करना कि ड्रेसिंग रूम का माल बाहर कैसे आया, ये भी एक अपने आप में, ये तो आप जब से आप टाइम्स ऑफ टाइम रिपोर्टिंग करते थे तब से बाहर आ रहा है ड्रेसिंग रूम का माल. तो ये कोई
उससे
नई चीज
पहले से
नहीं
आ रहा
है.
है मेरे भाई. मतलब
हाँ,
आप
उसके पहले से आ रहा है.
उससे
करेक्ट.
पहले से आ रहा है.
ये तो शायद
टाइम
सी के
इमेमोरियल
नायडू
से.
के टाइम में भी आ रहा होगा, मतलब
हाँ
हु
हाँ
नोस.
हाँ, करेक्ट 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 करेक्ट. बहुत कुछ ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड आता है, बहुत कुछ हिसाब से बताया जाता है कि वो लिखो आप. तो दैट इज ट्रू. यू कैन
तो
नॉट से दैट सडनली.
तो सौरभ, क्या ये हमारे जो चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी के साथ जो रिश्ता है, 2017 में भी यही हुआ. कुंबले और कोहली का मतलब टूर्नामेंट से ठीक पहले पता चला. इस बार तो एटलीस्ट एवरीबॉडी हैज गॉट सम काइंड ऑफ अ लीड नोटिस कि बॉस कुछ गड़बड़ है. और वो 2017 में इंडिया पाकिस्तान फाइनल के बजाय एवरीबॉडी वाज वंडरिंग व्हाट्स हैपनिंग बिटवीन कुंबले, कोहली, गांगुली, तेंदुलकर एंड ऑल. क्या अभी वील बी वेस्टिंग टाइम वंस अगेन ऑन दिस, यू थिंक सौरभ?
at, at least in 2017 India was winning before going to the Champions Trophy. They went in with a very strong team. They were the favorites alongside England, and they were winning. Now to wo bhi nahi hai. Just to hark on that Sanju Samson thing, I think his case is a bit like the some of these Australian cricketers in the 2000s, where you are really really good, but it's very difficult to find a spot because the others who are there are also really really good. So kisko hatao, kisko replace karo, like a lot of, I saw one comment that that was a little heartwarming. It said justice for Karun Nair. Abhi Karun Nair has been
There is
setting Vijay
conflict of
Hazare on
interest.
fire.
Yesterday Manuja, today Saurabh. Conflict of interest ना इंडियन क्रिकेट में भर भर के है.
No, what I'm saying is it's good to see Karun Nair doing well, but ऐसे बोलने से justice for Karun Nair नहीं होता है. You have to say instead of whom will he come, who will you
Yeah,
drop
correct.
to get
True.
Karun Nair into the side. You can't just say कि oh इसको लाओ उसको लाओ.
Very true,
Who
very true.
इसको छोड़ो, वो भी तो है. And in the
This guy,
batting order,
I think he's spending a lot of time with that boom mic of his, listening to a lot of podcasts about life and way of living and everything.
yeah,
But
that is,
on this point about Karun Nair, and I want Nitin and Gaurav also to weigh in on this. I was listening to Mr. Harsha Bogle, and he interestingly picked Karun Nair as one of the 4 standbys for this tournament, for Champions Trophy.
would
And
you? I have a question. Would you pick Surya Kumar Yadav as a standby in the ODI
yeah,
team?
but Gigi is the one to answer because he's the one with the sources because, more than
नहीं
us.
मतलब
Gigi,
आपके
what do you?
ओपिनियन में
नहीं
do
नहीं
you
नहीं नहीं,
think
सूर्या देव.
नहीं?
आई थिंक सूर्या देव गिवन अप ऑन सूर्या द ओडीआई प्लेयर. सूर्या अब T20
Okay.
एक फॉर्मेट जहाँ वो कैप्टनसी कर रहे हैं वहां पर वो हो गया. दे
मेरे को
ट्राइड इट इन
लगता
द
है
वर्ल्ड कप.
I just
दे
feel
ट्राइड इट
like
इन द वर्ल्ड कप.
he has, I don't see a reason why he couldn't succeed in ODIs. Like he has all the shots, he has the skill, he has the temperament, everything. I don't see a reason why. So I feel like if they have given up on him entirely, that would be a bit sad. I wish at some point, I don't think there's a place right now, but at some point maybe there should be another opportunity for him.
But what do you,
Hopefully, but I doubt.
Gigi and Nitin, sorry to cut you. Gigi and Nitin, what do you make of this Karun Nair situation? Because he's played county cricket last year in England during the IPL. So he played in the early part of the English summer or winter, whatever it is, and got acclimatized. He's asked another chance for cricket. He's got another chance. He's scoring runs, tons of runs. But so is Mayank Agarwal. Uh, what do you make of the situation with Karun Nair? Do you pick him as a standby, as Mr. Harsha Bogle is suggesting, or you pick him as one of the batters for the England tour and he spends time on the sidelines just like Ishwar and Sarfraz Khan in Australia? Nitin, you want to go first?
No, I don't see him, as unfortunate as it may sound. I don't see him break into this Indian one day team. I mean, who do you drop, Chandresh? I mean, you make up your 11 or your 15. No, you have Rohit, you have Gill, you have Jaiswal, you have Kohli, you have Shreyas Iyer, you have Sanju Samson, you have KL Rahul, Jadeja, Akshar, Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, probably Washi, Kuldeep. Did I name Akshar?
No,
Did I
I think
name
so.
Did I name Akshar?
No.
Akshar Patel, and one more maybe backup, Hardik Pandya.
Watching.
So where will you and
So,
looking at how India now have, I think, course corrected for the playing 11 that they played in the World Cup final, which I think forced Kohli and Rahul to bat the way that they did, because they knew that they did not have batting after number 6 or number 7, so which I think made them overcautious and have some kind of an insurance towards the back end. And I think they don't want to repeat that mistake. And now that's why I think they'll pack their team with flexible players who can bat and bowl and go for their big hits, at least till number 8 and number 9. And so that is why I think Karun Nair may not, unfortunately, get into the team.
but what about as a standby? Name him as one of the four standbys.
Yeah, that may satisfy the people who want him in the team, but play in the playing 11, I don't think so.
So, Gigi, so then where does it leave the new diktat of the BCCI that you must play domestic cricket, you must give importance to domestic cricket? It's not a new one. Even back in 2007, the very first point was about cricketers playing domestic cricket, the star cricketers. So, where does that leave? Especially someone like a Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan, they were made an example of last year in front of everybody. And now, when someone has played domestic cricket, you're saying will not, it will be a backward step. But are they even considering him for the test matches in England?
यार वही मेरा लॉजिक सरफराज के साथ होता था जब उसको नहीं लेते थे. एटलीस्ट इज इन द स्क्वाड नाउ. माय पॉइंट वाज इफ समबडी इज डूइंग सो वेल इन डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट, बी इट सरफराज, करुण नायर, whomsoever, एटलीस्ट पिक द गाय इन द स्क्वाड so that guy gets the motivation and seeing him the others get the motivation. नहीं तो तुम्हारे डोमेस्टिक टूर्नामेंट्स कोई खेलेगा नहीं. तुमको घर जाके घंटी बजा के पूछना पड़ेगा कि भाई डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट जरा खेलने आ जाओ, अपने स्टेट के लिए खेल लो प्लीज. सब लोग आईपीएल खेलेंगे, ठीक है ना? तो यू हैव टू समवेयर स्टार्ट रिवॉर्डिंग डोमेस्टिक परफॉर्मर्स. इफ करुण नायर इज डूइंग सो वेल, आई डोंट नो, एटलीस्ट कीप हिम in the fringes, give him encourage him, tell him that you are just there, roundabout there, or you will be picked in the next tournament, if not the Champions Trophy, for the England tour. I don't know, maybe as a backup, considering हमारे महान खिलाड़ी कितना अच्छा खेल रहे हैं आजकल. आप उनको फ्रेम में रखिए कि बॉस you be around. He's had a couple of good stints in county cricket, तो उनको इंग्लैंड टूर के लिए कम से कम रखिए, if not the Champions Trophy. But I know he's 33. He's not, with him, it's not like you're sort of diving forward. You're investing in a youngster or something. But then, so if somebody is in form, do respect that in domestic cricket, whether it is Karun Nair, Sarfaraz, or whomsoever. So that I still feel that he should be kept in fray somewhere, and maybe kept as the first reserve amongst the batters. If anybody is injured or something, I think his name should be the first on the list, and he should be encouraged that, boss, keep doing well. You'll be in with a chance, if not in the first 14 15, at least as the 16 17 player there.
What are your sources saying? Gigi, क्या बता रहे हैं source?
अभी तक मैंने स्पेसिफिकली करुण नायर के लिए नहीं पूछा है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, बट आई थिंक ही विल बी देयर इन द फ्रे, एटलीस्ट एज अ रिजर्व प्लेयर, विदाउट डाउट. and I think one of the top. And I think that maybe somewhere for the England too, but I have my doubts because again, age is not with him. It's not like you're investing in a youngster with him. But I do hope. I mean, I'll find out more about this, and I'll on the next show I'll give you a more definite information. अभी तक मेरे पास उस बारे में specifically input नहीं है, but I do feel that somewhere is in the fray. Maybe for England tour, if not, because that will be a larger squad. Remember, So I think he could find himself in the squad there. If not for the ideally, if you ask me, I would pick him in the Champions Trophy squad at least because form should not be disrespected. This kind of form, I mean, 500s in 6 innings, 6 matches is just crazy. 4 on the trot, I think. That is just unbelievable form, and he's been in good touch for a while now. And somebody who's matured and seen the ups and downs was 6 months for 6 months was out of the Karnataka team, struggled to play for a state, went to Kerala, now is playing for Vidarbha, and Vidarbha is not a Mumbai or a Karnataka or a Tamil Nadu where they'll go to the higher rounds, and they made it to the Ranji Trophy final this time. But then to come through that test of fire and to re-emerge, I think says that he, Paripakwa, sort of matured batsman ever by now. I think he could have a couple of good years to offer to Indian cricket, and we have seen that in the past, right? I mean, Mike Hussey developed late and was very good for Australia for the last 4-5 years of his career. So I think he should be kept in play somewhere.
Gaurav spoke about Karnataka dropping him and being away. One man who's responsible for that is right here in the middle of the frame, Saurabh Somani, who's from Bangalore. He is responsible for that, so we'll not forget that. But looking at the question, some of the questions, Gaurav. One question is Gaurav sir from Priyanshu. He says, Gaurav sir, who is next ODI captain? Will India have three captains? We are just digressing from our topic, but still there's a question directed specifically to you. And also there's a question from someone else saying, will Rohit Sharma go to Pakistan for the photo shoot ahead of the Champions Trophy? These two questions.
ये वाला diplomatic level question है, photo shoot and
but Gaurav has to answer.
Photo shoot, so I have no answer for that. I don't know. I mean, that's a very, very tough one for me to answer because considering we have slogged so much to ensure that the trophy, the India's matches will be held outside Pakistan, and the tournament almost got moved out of Pakistan. And then there are these, stories about the tournament, the grounds in Pakistan not being ready, and so on and so forth. So I really doubt that Rohit Sharma वहाँ जाएंगे. But maybe since this is something extremely mandatory, but then if Rohit goes there, then that's another level of. So again, a lot of I think government hurdles to cross before that happens. And number two about captaincy, I think Rohit will stay on as captain for at least for the Champions Trophy. I believe he has offered to captain as long as in a selfless this thing. कि जब तक वो कैप्टनसी कर सकते हैं वो करेंगे क्योंकि बुमराह 5 और टेस्ट मैच तो नहीं खेल पाएंगे इंग्लैंड में. So I really wish that Bumrah is appointed captain. I have a feeling that Bumrah will be appointed captain for the Test series in England as long as he recovers fully and is available for that tour. And when it comes to the ODIs, I think for now we will have Rohit captaining in the ODIs, and then of course going forward maybe in the next season we will have a new captain. Whether that is interesting to see कि वो कौन होंगे वो ODI captain. Will that be a younger face out of the blue, or will they go to KL Rahul, who's slightly more experienced?
The one option for the photo shoot could be that Rohit could be on this side of the Vaga, while the other captains are on the other side of the Vaga.
Hologram.
No, they can do a selfie stick के साथ कर सकते हैं.
Yeah,
that is an option for
hologram भी कर
and the
सकते हैं.
trophy can be somewhere in between.
हाँ, आजकल तो होलोग्राम का कर रहे हैं ना.
होलोग्राम जैसे मांजरेकर खड़े होते हैं वो. हाँ. वही कुछ करेंगे.
वही कुछ है. तो but we've discussed enough about Rohit Sharma and everybody. The other big problem, like you spoke about Saurabh right at the start about 2-3 slots being available. The other big issue for India is the issue about which spinner to leave out rather than which spinner to pick. तो आपके पास बहुत सारे options है उसमें. You have got Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel. We don't know what's the status with Kuldeep Yadav, whether Kuldeep Yadav is still fit, not fit. Then there is the question about what to do with Varun Chakravarti. If he's picked, will he? What happens to the fielding? Then there is Ravi Bishnoi, and somewhere in between, there is somewhere in the corner Yuzvendra Chahal, who's not playing right now, but he's available to do other things. So where do you stand on the whole spinner slot? And Gigi, I'll come to you last because you have all the information about the spinners, but we want other people's opinion over here. So Saurabh.
I think if Kuldeep Yadav is fit, he would be my first pick as spinner. Uh, Akshar and Ravindra Jadeja, uh, it makes sense to pick only one of them since both offer you, very similar skill sets. Makes sense to pick only one of them. But if we just see performance wise, and if you see what you were saying earlier about, length, I think what Gigi was saying earlier about lengthening the batting order, then there is a temptation to include both also. But I think Kuldeep's fitness is the biggest question for me. If he's fit, definitely Kuldeep. And one of Akshar or Jadeja. Definitely Kuldeep and one of Akshar or Jadeja for sure. So that takes care of two spinner slots. Now it's UAE, so we might need a third. So then I would say, either of Bishnoi or Chahal as a leggy to turn it the other way from the right handers. Those
Interesting.
would be my.
Go on, go
Sorry.
on, go on, go on.
No. I was saying so. Those would be that would be the lines along which I was thinking. Now, if Kuldeep is not fit, it makes everything very distinct. Varun Chakravarti is an interesting pick. I think I would definitely have him in the T20I squad. ODI, I'm not so sure. Ek to 10 overs is a very different kettle of fish than bowling 4 overs at different points, at different matchups, with different pressures on the batters, and 10 overs is different. Fielding, like you said, is an issue. He's obviously improved a lot in that, but it's much more difficult to hide a guy in the field for a 50 over match than it is for a 20 over match. So that I think will count against him, and there is no impact sub yahan pe, so it's his batting is also, now if they want to lengthen their batting, now their fast bowlers can't bat, right? India don't have fast bowlers who can bat. Shami, ya Arshdeep, ya Siraj, you can't count on them for runs. So then if you pick another spinner also who can't bat, then you're going back to the same thing of having a very long tail. So that way I think it'll be difficult for Varun to make it, because as we have discussed, I think in the absence of Bumrah, Shami, if he's fit, obviously, and Siraj and Ashdeep are the first choice pacers. Whether two play or three play in the 11, those will be the first choice pacers. But at least two of them will play. And if two of them are playing, it is already your 10 and 11 are, you can't rely on for runs. So then Varun, I feel difficult.
Nitin, where do you stand? Gautam has shown a preference for Varun in the T20 matches, and you will have three very poor fielders in that sense with Varun, Siraj, and Shami in the lineup, and you have to hide three players on a field. And have you followed the ILT20 to see early trends from that tournament to see how the pitch is at Dubai?
Yeah, I mean the scores are not very high, and even during the T20 World Cup, the women's T20 World Cup, I don't think the wickets were very batter friendly. So and I think in terms of pecking order, Chandresh, I think Akshar now I think has surpassed Jadeja in white ball cricket in terms of both batting and bowling. Barring that one over that he bowled to Klaasen in the T20 World Cup final, I think Akshar was one of the uncelebrated heroes of the T20 World Cup campaign, and I think even in one day cricket, he's too skillful as a batter, wonderful fielder, excellent catcher, and he can easily give you 4-5 good overs. Can bowl in the power play, which Jadeja does not in limited overs cricket. So I think Akshar over Jadeja for me, Washi and Kuldeep Yadav. In case Kuldeep Yadav is not fit, then Ravi Bishnoi.
So that's interesting. Gigi, you're the man with the ears to the ground, with sources in the selection committee and the team management. Is it going to be the fact that Kuldeep is not fit, and hence the selectors have to look at other options for this ODI format as well?
I think Akshar is getting a major push, Chandresh, in the white ball team, which is why he's been made the vice captain out of the blue of the T20 team. जो कि वाइस कैप्टनसी जो एक म्यूजिकल चेयर्स चल रहा है वहां पे, कभी हार्दिक पांड्या के पास चली जाती है, कभी इसके पास, कभी उसके पास, अभी वो आ गई है इनके पास में, Akshar Patel ke paas mein. But I think Akshar is definitely, as Nitin said, ahead of. Having said that, Ravindra Jadeja had an excellent 50 overs World Cup in
Yeah.
23. I think picked up a couple of fivers, also had a poor final. But other than that, I think he had a very good tournament, and is a brilliant fielder. वो एक irresistible package है. But then, do the selectors want to move on from him is something that will have to be seen. But and I would have Varun Chakravarti in that team purely because the wickets are very tricky in UAE now, and Varun is somebody on those wickets he could be very difficult, very tough customer to tackle. As we saw in, I think, 2020 IPL was when Varun emerged as a serious option in India's T20 team. He was, the selectors that time were telling him कि यार इसको कोई खेल ही नहीं पा रहा है. He was so difficult to, nobody could hit out at him. पता नहीं चलता है अगली बॉल क्या होगी, लेग स्पिनर होगी, कैरम बॉल होगी, क्या होगी. Such bowlers are extremely tricky to play against, and on those wickets he could be a deadly weapon for us. If he's given, and right now he's high on confidence. Matured hai, 33, 34. The time when a spinner is at his prime, unlike batters. So I think, and fast bowlers. So I think he could be a sort of a wild card, sort of a surprise package, that we could have a secret weapon that we could have. And Washi, of course, I think definitely होंगे मुझे लगता है इस team में, because he is being seen as an all format player, and somebody who's settled in that, in his slot, somebody who can contribute at any time in the game, with ball and bat. So I think these three are the most viable options that look to me. But considering that Kuldeep has just started bowling, it will take a while for him. He has to play a few matches before he gets picked for a tournament like this. And ये तो knockouts आ गए इसके तो, विजय हजारे के तो it's almost over. Now you have the Ranji Trophy round beginning from 23. So from Jan 23. So even if he plays the Ranji Trophy and all, I don't know how ready he would be for the Champions Trophy. Maybe future going forward, we could be looked at. But right now, these three look to be the most viable options. I think that is what, when I speak to my sources, mostly I expect them to come back with these three names.
Saurabh, the way Gigi is explaining, it seems like all the memes and all the coincidences that are mentioned on social media, ICC tournament in Dubai, Varun Chakravarti in the mix, Jasprit Bumrah not being available, confusion around captaincy. It seems like 2021 all over, and a Chinese virus back in focus. So everything seems to be
and
like pointing.
New Zealand and Pakistan in our group.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
Lord,
Oh yes.
yeah.
just makes it
So
worse.
so like either Gigi knows something that we don't know, which he does,
And
but
and the coach, that was the coach's last tournament, right? That
oh
Yeah,
god,
Yeah.
yeah.
God, I hope he's not watching this.
no, but so Saurabh, this is this like how do you look at it? Half glass is half full or half empty? I don't understand because we've said three slots, 3-4 slots ही है, but 3-4 slots के लिए इतने सारे मतलब permutation combination मेरे ख्याल से कोई और
No,
कंट्री में नहीं हो रहा है.
no, but वो तो that is in a way a good thing, right? It's better to have more players to pick from than to have only 12 to pick from and try to fill up the other three with substandard players. I think Gigi gave a good explanation for Varun C, which, and I had forgotten about Washi, of course. How could we forget Washi? He's also in the mix. But Varun C का my only thing is कि वो batting और fielding का क्या होगा फिर, and does it
अरे थर्ड मैन वर्ड
uh,
मैन पे खड़ा कर दो यार, उसकी don't lose out on his bag of tricks. I am telling you, he'll
अच्छा,
confuse the batters.
10 ओवर के लिए he will confuse.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, क्या
बिल्कुल
है मतलब.
अच्छा हाँ.
He will, why not. I mean, middle overs again, that confusion is always there amongst the batters. मारना है या
हम्म,
रुकना है, milk करना है
हम्म.
उसको. So like that. So I mean, he's improved as a bowler a lot here. He's really, and he's played a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
sure,
domestic
sure.
cricket also. So
No, no,
why not?
I hold Varun C in high regard. Now Chandresh will say मैं तो पौंडीचेरी में भी हूँ कभी कभी, तो obviously I will. लेकिन I do, but I was just thinking in terms of like if given just Gigi, the other Gigi, our coach Gigi, his preference for having lengthy batting lineups, at least what we have seen in KKR and all, whether he will go with quite so many bowlers in the mix who don't offer much with the bat. There'll be four. Like if Varun C is picked, there'll be four potentially bowlers in the squad of 15 who don't offer much with the bat. So that is a little bit tricky. But
But the
ठीक है,
same is
if
also true for the top order, right? They don't offer anything in
Varun is
the.
basically your X Factor bowler. Varun is basically your X Factor bowler in the absence of Kuldeep. The one bowler that
Yeah.
that you don't
चंद्रेश
know
ने
what he'll bring to the table.
चंद्रेश ने एक्स फैक्टर कमेंट दिया है अभी. He
That's-
said,
No, the same is also true for the top order. No? They don't bowl. India's top order doesn't bowl. One time
अच्छा
they
अच्छा, I
bowled in
thought you were
the.
saying they don't offer much with the bat.
No, no, no. I said with the ball. I am not. I
Okay,
want to
okay.
stay in Bombay. I will not say all these things. Uh, but I'm just saying that the
Yeah,
top order also. The one time they bowled in Bangalore in that
hmm.
Netherlands game in the 2023 ODI World Cup, it became like a
हाँ.
big event. Like
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Rohit is bowling, Virat is bowling, Rohit is bowling, everybody's bowling. It became like a big event. So I'm just saying
Yeah.
that they also don't offer. So it
Hmm.
is back to 2023 in that sense, Gigi.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, see, I look at it like that अगर वो specialist होके उस position पे को justify कर रहा है, then definitely why not? If you got good all rounders at till 7 or till 7, then अगर last के चार bowler भी and you got bowlers who can bring something different to the mix. As I said, see, these will be very one-off games. There'll be teams under pressure. There could be issues of net run rate and all that. And such tournaments, bilateral में शायद थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है. But such tournaments, you never know which way suddenly harakiri kiya batsman ne, and with Pakistani batsmen, you don't know. Suddenly, aisa bowler aaya, they will start going for their shots, and suddenly this guy runs through them. So anything is possible. And it's always good to have a bowler like that in the mix. That is what I feel. मुझे ऐसा लगता है, but I'll
Just
need
to
to find out
add,
more as I told you.
I think if the pitches offer something to the bowlers, this will make this sort of balance more viable. Because if it's
Absolutely.
a very flat track, na, then maybe you need bowlers who can bat. If the pitches offer something, then you can trust your bowlers to do the job, and then you have enough runs, enough less amount of runs that you pick the best batsman available and you trust them to do the job.
Just a
Quite
final
a few
thought.
batters have told me that it is very difficult to hit out against this guy. I mean, to sort
Yeah.
of this thing because he's very unpredictable. So that is why I feel that.
Interesting. Nitin, just a final round of thoughts. One person that, a couple of people that we have not talked about. One is Tilak Verma. He can also bowl a bit. He's high on confidence after his exploits in the T20 series. Then there is Rinku Singh, who's there and thereabouts. People have even talked about him making his test debut. Where do you stand on those couple of options? Are they nowhere close to your ODI selection right now?
Yeah, I think they'll have to unfortunately wait their time, Chandresh. These they'll have to wait for a couple of retirements to establish themselves completely in the ODI setup.
But Saurabh and Gigi both have said those retirements won't come for at least till after the ODI World Cup in 2027.
No,
So
no,
by
Gigi
then they,
said that. I don't
I said
know.
that. I said that. I said that
but oh
because
yeah,
both
you
want to
spoke
play
about some other
on and on and on.
and you
Both
spoke
want to
about
serve the nation.
they are selfless people.
ये
So
5 year term है, like election type. Okay.
बिल्कुल.
but so what happens say to a Ruturaj Gaikwad? He's also been scoring tons of runs. Everybody's talking about Karun Nair, but Ruturaj has also been scoring runs in one day cricket. So he'll
And
also feel like
yeah, and he has been doing it consistently. Like Karun Nair has caught fire recently, but Ruturaj has been, churning out the runs for what, the last 3 years at least. And
Yeah,
yeah, Rinku Singh, I have a lot of time for the guy. Like I mean, I have never spoken to him more than I think twice or something, but I just like his attitude and what he brings to the side and his ability to hit. He has the ability to take the game away like that, which I really like. And even before he may hit those 5 sixes of Yash Dayal, Rinku Singh was UP's mainstay, right? Like in Ranji Trophy, he was averaging 50 every year in the Ranji Trophy. So Rinku Singh is definitely, I think, but I agree with Nitin Bhai. He'll have to unfortunately wait his time. I don't think there's a spot open for him. So that, and Tilak Verma will definitely get his chance, but yeah, again, probably not now.
so. On that note, just one final round from all three of you, gentlemen. Will we have a press conference when the team is finally announced? They have selected. Will we have a final press conference, and would that be on Sunday or before that? Nitin first, you.
be an interesting press conference to go to, and it will be a big ticket press conference if it happens, because there'll be a lot of uncomfortable questions and a lot of uncomfortable answers. But knowing Ajit Agarkar, I think he would want to address the media.
And what about you, Saurabh?
Yeah, I think there will be a press conference, and whether there is a conference or not, we will be there to analyze the absence of a press conference or what was said in the press conference.
And finally, the man with his ears to the ground, Gigi. You have to make sure that it doesn't happen on 19th. I'm depending on you. So, well, what do you think? Will it happen or not happen?
इट विल हैपन डेफिनेटली 19th को भी हो सकती है इनको बीसीसीआई को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता उसी दिन एमसीए का फंक्शन है ग्रैंड फंक्शन है शाम को मुंबई मैराथन है सब कुछ है बट आई डोंट थिंक इफ द बीसीसीआई वांट्स इट टू हैपन ऑन 19th they will schedule it on the 19th but it could be on 18th it could be on 17th you never know it could be on the other 2 days as well so we just have to wait for the
I think
invite
they're waiting
that
for the
release soon.
Hazare final. I think they're waiting for the Hazare final. I guess.
Yeah, for the Hazare final perhaps. Not that उससे
That's on
कोई
the
बड़े
18th.
player pick होने वाले हैं, but फिर भी
Yeah,
हाँ.
no, no. Yeah.
So on that note, we have discovered one thing, that apart from all the things around the team selection, we know one thing, that Gaurav Gupta is not a Coldplay fan, because he didn't mention about Coldplay when he spoke about the other important events on 19th of January. On that note, Nitin, Gaurav, and Saurabh, all three of you, thank you. I guess the
Thank
longer
you.
this stretches, the longer the ODI cricket will continue to be interesting for world, even though the rest of the world thinks ODI cricket is on its last stages. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining us today, and thanks a lot
Thank you.
to all of you watching
Thank
us
you.
on TOI Sports. Keep liking, sharing, and subscribing this channel as always, and keep supporting us. We'll be back tomorrow with one more show.